All Souls' Day in Spain, 1600 to 1800. Extravagance, devotion, and the true spirit of sacrifice. All Souls' Day, or Dia de los Muertos, is a day dedicated to commemorating the deceased, observed predominantly in Catholic traditions. In Spain, especially during the period from the 1600s to the 1800s, this occasion evolved into an elaborate cultural and religious phenomenon. The extravagant displays of devotion and the intricate rituals conducted on this day merit a closer examination. Amidst the sumptuous celebrations, one must also consider Jesus' teaching regarding true generosity, exemplified in the story of the poor widow who gave all that she had to the temple. Mark 12:41-44. This essay delves into the contradictions of extravagance and sincerity, measuring the outward expressions of faith against deep, internal convictions. Historical context of All Souls' Day in Spain. The roots of All Souls' Day can be traced back to early Christian traditions, and by the 1600s, it had solidified into a significant part of Spanish culture. This was a time of great religious fervor, characterized by the Counter-Reformation's influence, which sought to reaffirm Catholic beliefs against the backdrop of Protestant Reformation. Religious observances became lavish, as the faithful demonstrated their piety through visual spectacles and public displays of devotion. During this period, the Spanish Catholic Church promoted an expansive understanding of the communion of saints, which fostered a profound connection between the living and the dead. All Souls' Day served as a powerful reminder of this connection, prompting the faithful to visit cemeteries, adorn graves with flowers, and conduct prayers for souls in purgatory. The display of wealth was often used to gauge one's devotion, leading to an intricate ritual of generosity that sometimes overshadowed the fundamental purpose of the day. Extravagance in observance. In the 17th and 18th centuries, the observances of All Souls' Day became increasingly elaborate. Wealthy patrons would commission extravagant altarpieces and elaborate decorations for local churches, transforming them into mausoleums of exquisite offerings for the dead. Candles lit in honor of the deceased flickered against ornate frescoes, while rich tapestries adorned the walls, creating an atmosphere that was both reverent and opulent. In Spanish towns, the traditions of offering food to the dead also evolved, with families preparing feasts not only for themselves, but for their deceased relatives. Pastry chefs would craft intricately decorated bread and sweets, while rural communities engaged in communal meals at cemeteries. The psychological and spiritual act of feeding the dead became a public demonstration of love that teetered on the edge of absurdity, as some families went to great lengths to outdo their neighbors in the size and lavishness of their offerings. At its best, this display could be seen as a touching articulation of love and remembrance, yet many critics voiced concern over the potential for vanity and ostentation. The devout actions, tainted with competition and social status, often detracted from the original solemn purpose of the day, praying for the souls of the departed and acknowledging one's own mortality. The absurdity of wealthy devotion. During the same period, the paradox of wealth and religious observance accentuated the absurd. The growing power of the Church often fostered an environment where financial contributions became synonymous with spiritual standing. Tales circulated about families who spent extraordinary amounts on funerary rites or candlesticks gilded in gold, leaving the impression that devotion had become, in part, a theatrical performance. The emphasis on material expression challenged the very essence of piety. Drawing parallels with the New Testament story of the widow's mite, the disparities in acts of devotion come into clear focus. In the tale, a poor widow donates 2 small coins to the temple, which, according to Jesus, surpasses the contributions of wealthier individuals who give out of their abundance. Mark 12:41-44. Here, the widow's act of giving reflects genuine sacrifice, motivating a reevaluation of what it truly means to honor God and the dead. Thus, in the context of All Souls' Day, many who offered extravagant displays might have failed to grasp the essential message of true devotion. If the widow's gift illustrated a profound act of faith and love despite limited means, the allegory forces introspection among the wealthy who, in their attempts to memorialize the dead, often drew attention to themselves rather than their gratefulness for the deceased. Measured devotion, a balance of heart and act. While some aspects of All Souls' Day devolved into ritualistic extravagance, the period was also rich with meaningful expressions of devotion. There emerged a counter-movement among clerics and laity who advocated for integrity in practice. Many urged returning to the foundations of faith, where humility reflected true piety, and the purpose of the day was directed towards earnest prayer and reflection. Communal gatherings at cemeteries, where families would unite in collective prayers and share stories of the deceased, became a potent means to connect with both the living and the dead. Painting these gatherings with simplicity, a meal shared among family at graveside without ostentation, could be seen as a return to the heart of All Souls' Day. Conclusion. The evolution of All Souls' Day in Spain from the 1600s to 1800s presents a fascinating tableau of extravagance and absorbing devotion, revealing both the strength of human emotion and the absurdity that can accompany religious ritual. As affluent displays by some began to overshadow simple acts of genuine remembrance, the spirit of devotion remained available for those willing to embrace it. The juxtaposition of wealth and piety often called into question the true essence of sacrifice and love, leading one back to the poignant story of the widow's mite. In celebrating the lives of the deceased, whether through sumptuous offerings or simple prayers, the essential message remained clear. True devotion lies not in the size of one's gift, but in the sincerity of the heart that offers it. It encourages every individual and community to reflect on how they honor those who have passed, emphasizing that what is offered, be it richly adorned or heartbreakingly modest, reveals the innermost inclinations toward love and remembrance.